The Russian Maritime Register of Shipping is an internationally acknowledged classification society, a full member of the International Association of Classification Societies, recognized by the European Union. The register's structure incorporates more than 50 offices in Russia and abroad. The head office of the Russian Maritime Register of Shipping is located in the heart of St. Petersburg, on Palace Embankment, in one of the most beautiful mansions of this northern capital. The history of the Russian Maritime Register of Shipping is a record illustrating the development of the national system of ship classification, ship technical condition assessment, and navigation safety insurance. From a small technical bureau to a renowned classification society, this is the path covered by the register in the course of the 100 years of its existence. The charter of the Society for the Classification of Sea, River and Lake Vessels, approved in 1913 by the Minister of Trade and Industry of Russia, ran as follows. The aim of the society is to examine and classify ships and floating structures of any sort, publish lists of ships classed by the society, develop rules for construction and repair, engage in any kind of operations associated with the above work, as well as effect general support of the progress of the shipbuilding industry in Russia. One of the founding fathers of the register and the first chairman of its technical committee was the outstanding naval engineer Konstantin Petrovich Baklevsky. It was to him that the idea of applying a principally novel type of engine on board ships, namely the internal combustion engine, belonged. Members of the Register Technical Committee were the most prominent experts in the field of ship design, construction and operation. In 1915, the first Russian Register of Ships book was published. By 1916, more than 4,500 ships were already subject to the Register's supervision. Register offices were opened in Petrograd, Rybinsk, Nizhny Novgorod, Astrakhan, Baku, Nikolaev, Arkhangelsk and Rostov. The stormy dawn of the 20th century, with World War I, the Revolution and the ensuing Civil War, resulted in a collapse of the Russian fleet. However, the young state needed its ships as well as a robust water transport system. On the 20th of June 1923, the Russian Register was established by a decree of the All-Russian Central Executive Committee and the Council of People's Commissars, renamed the USSR Register a year later. And still another 70 years later, its legal successor, the Russian Maritime Register of Shipping, sprang to being in modern Russia. As time went by, the social formations changed, but the register remained a guarantee of accomplishing the tasks associated with maritime safety, safety of life at sea, and safe carriage of cargo. For the first time ever, the register had developed standards and requirements for Arctic ships. The register rules for electric welding were unique at the time of their publication in 1930, and they highlighted the opportunities for using this modern technology during ship construction and repair. In 1935, as ship construction under the register rules started abroad, its class was generally recognized. Even during the Great Patriotic War, the activities of the organization never stopped, even for a single day. The register surveyors made a great contribution to the rehabilitation of the fleet, development of operations, and plans for transport of goods and people. The functions and tasks of classification societies are being extended continuously. Both the techniques of goods transportation by sea and ship design and building procedures are subject to rapid change. Global safety standards are being enhanced. All this implies constant updating of the register rules. The amalgamation of research results, ship construction and operation experience analysis, international requirements and standards implementation, as adopted by the register, has placed the Russian Maritime Register of Shipping among the most reputable classification societies in the world. The need for the unification of the numerous technical norms and standards adopted by the maritime industry is of relatively long standing on a global scale. To solve it, the International Association of Classification Societies, the IACS, was established in 1968, which nowadays unites the leading societies of the world, including the Russian Maritime Register of Shipping. Over 90% of the world's merchant fleet comes under the rules developed by the IACS members. The role of cooperation among the societies in the development of world shipping is officially recognized on the highest international level. In May 2012, the 65th meeting of the IACS highest governing body took place in St. Petersburg, under the Register's chairmanship. The meeting was attended by Mr. Koichi Sekimizu, Secretary General of the UN International Maritime Organization. During his visit, matters associated with the Polar Code preparation directly affecting the national interests of Russia were discussed in connection with the extension of shipping along the Northern Sea route. The Russian Maritime Register of Shipping is the global leader in the development of standards for ice ships and offshore facilities. The development of shipping along the Northern Sea route stimulated the boost in icebreaker and Arctic tanker construction. The harsh weather conditions of the region require the application of principally new and unique technologies. The Register is effectively increasing the share of its services in this high-tech segment. The Register is the only classification society in the world to have a nuclear-powered fleet in its class. Failure-free operation of nuclear ships for more than half a century demonstrates their extraordinary capabilities, which enable strategic tasks to be solved, such as safe carriage of goods along the Northern Sea route and year-round navigation in the Arctic. Nowadays, the Register is participating in the construction of the world's first floating nuclear power plant and a new generation nuclear icebreaker. Due to the active offshore extraction of raw hydrocarbon deposits, there is a worldwide growth of demand for offshore facilities of different types. The Register provides a service package for the classification and survey of any offshore development structure and facilities, including subsea pipelines. A good example of such an integrated approach is the development of the Filanovsky oil and gas condensate field in the Caspian Sea. This is the largest field as measured by oil deposits explored in Russia during the last decade. Today, the Register participates in all the major offshore projects in the Russian Federation, from the Baltic Sea to the Sakhalin coast, and from the Arctic to the northern region of the Caspian Sea. One of the promising trends of the Register's activities is the survey of manned submersibles and diving systems. This equipment enables a wide range of tasks to be solved, from deep-sea operations to crew drill for international space stations. The Register has long-standing traditions of cooperation with the Russian Navy and is now contributing to the country's security by surveying the construction and repair of warships, auxiliaries and drill ships of the Russian Navy, including tugs, multi-purpose ships for integrated port services and logistics support vessels. An indispensable part of the Register's activities is research and development work, coordinated by the Scientific and Technical Council. The Russian Maritime Register of Shipping established an internationally recognized system of classification, employing highly professional staff, following the best traditions of Russian Imperial, Soviet, and New Russia's Federal Classification Society. The Register significantly contributes to the international efforts aimed at safety of shipping, protection of the environment, and security of life at sea.